Hello everybody, I am thrilled to be here today, and I want to take a second to just thank the committee and the volunteers, and also give yourselves a hand. Look around and look at this crowd for a first-time Pride event here in Green Bay. It's wonderful. The theme today is Pride Alive, and what I want to talk to you about in the next few minutes is how important it is to keep that theme alive, not just today, but every day that you live. And there's one way of doing that, and that's by coming out and living your life openly and honestly. It is a journey. It is not a one-day event. It is a journey full of pain and a journey full of joy. I wish I could stand up here and tell you a really brave coming out story, but mine's not, but let me share it with you. To date myself, it's late 1980s, and we had a tape recorder answering machine that had those little cassettes that the answering machine, you had your greeting, and then you had the answers recorded, or messages recording. Well, a friend of mine had gone to California and met a young man that he decided to describe to me in such a way that I would probably want to date him as well. My mother got that message as opposed to my greeting when she called. As you can imagine, that didn't go very well, and it became a journey of understanding and a real work in process. My mother was Southern Baptist, and I gave her materials to read. She'd go out and read them in the car. She wouldn't take them to the house because she was afraid my father would see them. My father stopped coming to any of our family events that were hosted at my house for years. When my partner came out to his parents, there was a long period that we didn't see them, as well as his parents attempting to have him enter into conversion therapy. So you can see that the journey started with pain. I want to fast forward today and talk about my life and what it looks like today. Today, my mother is showing pictures of her grandson in the Sunday school class where she used to pray for my conversion. She has actually walked out of church one Sunday when she didn't like the service that was given. My father, who actually suffered from Alzheimer's, ended up towards the end of his illness, believe it or not, forgetting either that I was gay, that he didn't care that I was gay, or that it was more important to have a son that he wanted to have in his life. And so I was able to spend the last 2 years as a caregiver for him, as opposed to having an estranged relationship when he passed away. Kevin's parents are the type of parents who now have their first grandchild and tell everybody. In fact, we wish they would tell. We'll be on an elevator and they'll turn and say, "This is my gay son, this is my partner, and this is our grandchild." So they've actually come almost too far in the process. But the reason I want to tell the story is they are the people that are changing the world. I spent 4 years down in Washington trying to get politicians to make the changes that we want them to make for us. And what has happened instead is the people in my lives are helping me make the change that I want us to make in our lives. The story that I really want to share is Kevin's parents are from Reading, Pennsylvania, which is a small town, very similar actually to where we are today. His father comes from a Mennonite religion, and his mother was very fundamentalist. About a year and a half ago, they had a baby shower for us in the back room at the Old Country Buffet, and a Mennonite minister gave the prayer blessing us and our new arrival into our family. That happened because Kevin and I, had the opportunity to come out. We did, and we stayed and we stayed honest. We told our parents, if you want us for the holidays, you're going to have us together. We missed some holidays, and it was painful. But these people today are actually advocates for us and all of us today by speaking out and making the change that we want to make. So the message today is, Pride Alive is not just a one-day event. It is how you live your life. It's an ongoing process. It never stops. Recently I was at the supermarket, and with my son on my hip, and the cashier said, "Boy, your wife must love you. Here you are doing the grocery shopping and bringing your baby." And at that moment, I had to make a decision. whether I was going to come out or just accept that and move on. I made the decision, said no, but my partner's really happy to have a few minutes to himself, because I realized at that time, if I started in front of my new son denying who I was sending a horrible message. So it's little things like that. It's, you know, I used to have my secretary make my travel arrangements, and I'd have her say, give us 2 single beds, because she didn't know about Kevin and I. Then I'd walk up to the counter at the hotel and ask for a king-size bed, and they'd go, oh, you know? And so it's every day you have the opportunity to impress somebody with who you are. That is how we're going to change the world. We have to stop waiting for others to do it and do it ourselves. And it is not just, you know, it's not just for yourselves. It's because then the parents who often go in the closet when you come out. I mean, I think about what happened when I came in out of the closet. My parents were running into the closet so far that it then took them time to go out. So my message for you about that is give them time. Give the ones that you love time when you come out if it doesn't go well. Do you remember how long it took you to accept yourself? And you might walk into a situation where you tell your mom or your dad or a close loved one or a friend or a coworker that you're gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender, and you may not get the reaction that you wanted at that moment. My message to you is to give them time, because they have to process what they've been through. So as I leave here today, what I'd love you to think about and to really take with you is to say, I'm going to live my life full of pride each and every day. Each and every day I can make the change I want in the world. And I want to end with a quote from Tammy Baldwin, who I'm sure all of you are very familiar with. If you dream of a world where you can put your partner's picture on your desk, then put his picture or her picture on your desk, and then you live in that world. And if you dream of a world in which you can walk down the street holding your partner's hand, then grab your partner's hand as you walk down the street, and you'll live in that world. If you dream of a world in where there are openly gay elected officials, then run for office, and you'll live in such a world. If you dream of a world in which you can take your partner to the office party, even if your office is the House of Representatives, then take her to the party, and you'll live in that world. I do. Remember, there are 2 things that keep us oppressed: them and ourselves. There's not a magic day that will come when we wake up and it's now okay to express ourselves publicly. We must make that day ourselves by speaking out publicly, first in small numbers, then in greater numbers, until it's simply the way things are and no one thinks twice. Never doubt that we can create this world, because, my friends, we are fortunate to live in a democracy, and in this democracy, we decide what's possible. Thank you.